Well, what started out as a small, minuscule problem in the town of Udupi in Karnataka is spiraling out of control. From West Bengal to Jammu and Kashmir to the capital city, as well as the western shores of India, this is becoming an issue. There needs to be a consensus drawn on this, there needs to be a solution, and there needs to be an authoritative order on what is supposed to be done and what should not. Tahira Hassan, author, women activist, joins us on the program. Sandeep Chachra, human rights activist, is also here with us on the program. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, Impar Media panelist, defense expert, also joins us on this all-important conversation. Dr. M.J. Khan, president of Impar, is also here with us. And last but by no means the least, Advocate Ashwini Dubey, senior lawyer of the Supreme Court, advocate on record, is also joining us on the platform. Major Mohammed Ali Shah, you know, Twitter and social media is a buzz with speculations, stipulations, drama, and of course observations as to what is going on across the country. A number of people have gone on to say, Muslim people from the country, that the hijab is not mandated in the Quran. It is an individual choice. But that is what is more important to consider over here. Even if there is no religion involved, individuality, liberty of expression in terms of what you wear is also at stake here. And now this fire is spreading throughout the country. How can we put an end to this, Ali?
Vineet, one thing I would like to, yes, what you said is a very sensible point, but one thing I would like to clarify, that there is no mention of a burqa in Islam, in Quran Sharif, in the religion. But what you mentioned about hijab, there is no mention. There is certainly a mention, and in fact I can quote it in chapter 24, verse 30 and 31, which certainly gives a mention. It says that, in fact, in chapter 24, 30, verse 30, there is a provision for hijab for men as well, which means a man should lower his glance when he is meeting a lady who is not his spouse. And 31 talks about the hijab, and in chapter 33, verse 59, there it is mentioned why hijab should be worn by women. Well, having said that, it's a different thing altogether, completely. Though it's a very, very personal choice. My family personally does not wear either, and burqa is not there. It's not mentioned in anywhere in Quran Sharif or in the religion. That I can vouch for. Now, my family personally does not really believe, they don't wear hijab or they do not wear the burqa. That's their personal choice. Now, having said that, but I certainly feel education is actually something of prime importance. It should, and both the community, being a Muslim, if I respect the community which is I do not belong to, only then will that community respect my faith as well. So I think both minorities and majorities should know how to conduct themselves with each other. I'll give a small example, I'll equate it with that. You know, in certain mosques, there are diktats given to the priests, to the Maulvis, to the Maulanas of the mosque, that do not give azan on loudspeaker. It's okay, you give azan lagaiye aap, magar loudspeaker pe, the moment you put it, it might disturb some people, which apparently it does. So it is okay. There's no provision of giving azan on loudspeaker also. So one should know also where you do not perturb anybody. One should not be disturbed by anyone. So, and it's their personal choice, it should be respected, yes, but at the same time, I'll give you another example, Vineet, a classic example. You know, I'm not kidding, just before this show, when I came live with you, 5 minutes before that, some friends of mine who are not Muslims, non-Muslims, very dear friends, they advised me that you are going on the panel, why don't you wear a skull cap and then go on the panel? And then speak to Vineet on that and say it's my personal choice. Let me tell you, I do not wear skull cap even when I go to the mosque on Fridays, because it's not mandated. Though I am confronted by Maulanas and Maulvis with big beards and they say, where's your cap? I said, no, Haram Sharif in Saudi Arabia, when I went for Hajj, you don't have to wear cap. It's not mandated. So one has to first understand one's religion and act accordingly and understand the other religion as well. And education is something, if you gain education now is the time for everybody, for these girls, for everyone to actually learn, and not to get carried away, bhadkaut by any political party, be it any political party. Because what happens, I will tell you, the politician will make use of these young girls, and they will apna ullu seedha kar denge politicians. They will get their matlab out of them. Who will suffer? Who will suffer? These young girls, the young bright girls who have a bright, brilliant future waiting ahead of them will actually, they will be the one who will be used as pawns and who would be made the scapegoat out of. So
okay.
I'll just complete in 10 seconds, Vineet. My appeal to the entire country, wherever the protests are going, to please keep it very, very peaceful. Please follow law and order. Please maintain law and order, and please be calm, composed, and wait. The judgment has not been given as yet. So please wait. Don't go by initial judgments. Many times, the court also, I've seen, my father has been a judge in the Armed Forces Tribunal, and my grandfather was a judge as well.
Okay.
So I have seen many times in the judiciary, people might think that, oh, the judgment might be against us. It might look so initially, but just be patient and hold on. That's something I would like to advise the entire nation.
All right. Interesting points made there by Mohammed Ali Shah.
It seems that indications are that seminal constitutional questions are involved. That's what the court said in the interim order. And therefore, it looks like once again we are going to enter the terrain of what's called the essential religious practices. And I think that's been referred to in passing by the previous panelist, Major Shah.
Ali, Twitter has been taken by storm because of this controversy. I read a statement, wouldn't like to disclose who said this, but it's somebody who's popular in the Indian polity, and the statement was something like this, that it's not what's on your head, but what's in your head that should decide who you are and where you can go. Basically saying that give importance to education, not what you're wearing on the outside. Is that something that you concur with, or do you think this is something out of context in this case?
No, I definitely concur with that 100%, and in fact I would also quote with a line which my uncle Mr. Nasiruddin Shah spoke in a movie called Khuda Ke Liye. In that he said, "Deen mein daadi hai, daadi mein deen nahi," which means there is hijab in the religion. There is no religion in hijab, basically. Which means you don't become a pious person by wearing hijab. But then one more thing. I did my graduation from Pune. In fact, I was Mr. Pune in the year 1999. So there in Pune, a lot of girls who ride scooties and kinetic Hondas and bikes, they cover their head because in order to save themselves from dust. Now, what do you say about that one of the Italian ministers? He said, when Mother Mary is always seen with her head covered, how can you go against hijab? Firstly. Secondly, now Mr. Ashwani has spoken about the Uniform Civil Code. I really appreciate his views, and I would like to add a step further to him by saying that the Christians regarding the Uniform Civil Code again, like when Tyra had said, then the beginning of the term only should tell the rules. You can't say midway or just before the exam. Yeah. It's like playing a sport, like playing a game, where every game has its own rules. Now you can't say, okay, rules were this, but now since I'm losing, so I change the rules, I amend the rules, and now rules will be this. You have to come out clean in the beginning. Now similarly, the Uniform Civil Code, Goa is the only state. Know the state. In fact, Mr. Dhami, the Chief Minister of Uttarakhand, yesterday, because tomorrow they're going in for elections. So yesterday he said that they will bring in Uniform Civil Code, which is fine. There's no opposition on that. Fine, it's fair enough. But now I would add something to what Mr. Ashwini said a step further. That the Christian Marriage Act of 1872, of the Indian Separation Act of 1869, and the Indian Progression Act of 1925. Now, the progression, it was demonstrated in 1925. Now, they have that means the Jews, the Muslims are governed by the Sharia law of 1937. So, everyone is governed by different laws, and if we all come under one law, like for example, the Hindu Marriage Act of 1956.
Okay, Ali, I have to stop you. We've run out of time. Thanking all our panelists for being a part of this wonderful conversation.